Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when we face a painful decision, a crossroads between forgiveness and self-respect. Today I implore you, do not give them a second chance, especially when their actions have revealed the darkness of intentional harm. When someone chooses to hurt you deliberately, it's not an accident, a misunderstanding, or an error of judgment. It is a choice, calculated and executed. And choices like these unveil a person's character more vividly than any words they might utter. The question you must ask yourself is this: do you want to give them the power to hurt you again? Self-worth is the foundation of a strong, meaningful life. Each time you lower your boundaries for someone who has already betrayed your trust, you chip away at that foundation. You send a silent message not just to them, but to yourself, that you are willing to accept less than you deserve. But you deserve so much more. You deserve respect, kindness, and the unwavering support of those who cherish you, not those who shatter your trust for their gain. Remember, this: actions speak louder than words. Promises of change may sound sweet, but they are empty until proven through consistent behavior. If their past actions were sharp enough to wound your soul, their future holds no guarantees of tenderness. The heart remembers, even when the mind tries to forgive. Growth is a journey of release. Letting go of those who are toxic is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of courage. It is a declaration to the world that you are choosing your peace, your healing, and your future over the chaos someone brought into your life. Do not feel guilty for closing the door on someone who intentionally harmed you. Feel empowered. In that decision lies the strength to reclaim your life, free of their shadows. So stand tall, my friends. Speak the unshakable truth of your worth. And when the moment comes, let them remain in your past, where they belong. When someone causes intentional harm, it is not a mistake or a fleeting lapse in judgment. It is a conscious choice that exposes their true character. Every action we take, especially those that affect others, is a reflection of who we are at our core. When a person deliberately chooses to hurt someone, it speaks volumes about their values, priorities, and the kind of relationship they wish to cultivate or destroy. Intentional harm is not born out of ignorance, it is born out of intent. And that intent is rooted in their perception of you and their capacity for empathy or lack thereof. When we think about the people we surround ourselves with, we often believe that shared moments of joy, trust, or connection define the relationship. But in truth, it is how people treat us in moments of conflict, anger, or adversity that reveals their true essence. A person who deliberately seeks to damage another has made a decision that their desires, frustrations, or emotions are more important than your well-being. That decision lays bare a fundamental truth: they lack the compassion or respect necessary to maintain a healthy relationship. It is tempting to rationalize intentional harm, to believe it was the heat of the moment or a reaction born out of stress or pain. But deliberate actions, unlike accidental missteps, come from a place of calculation. They involve choices. They involve deciding, even briefly, that your pain is acceptable collateral for their satisfaction, vengeance, or emotional release. This is not just an act of harm, it is a betrayal of trust, a violation of the unspoken contract that binds all meaningful relationships. Intentional harm also highlights a lack of accountability. People who hurt others deliberately often justify their actions to themselves, deflecting blame or minimizing the damage they've caused. They might say, "You pushed me to do it," or "I didn't mean it like that." But these excuses only serve to mask the reality of their decision. Accountability is the cornerstone of integrity, and someone who cannot own up to their actions is unlikely to change. Their willingness to harm intentionally today indicates a pattern they may repeat tomorrow. Furthermore, the choice to harm others speaks to a profound disconnection from empathy. Empathy is what allows us to understand and respect the feelings of those around us. It is what stops us from crossing lines that we know will hurt someone else. When empathy is absent or overridden, the capacity for intentional harm emerges. This is not a flaw that can be easily fixed, it is a deeply ingrained aspect of their character, shaped by their values, experiences, and beliefs. By recognizing intentional harm for what it is, we empower ourselves to make decisions that protect our peace and dignity. It is crucial to resist the urge to dismiss or minimize these actions. To do so is to deny the evidence of their character that has been presented to us. People show us who they are through their actions. not their words, and when someone's actions are rooted in harm, they are showing us a truth we cannot ignore. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who has deliberately hurt you is not an act of cruelty or vengeance, it is an act of self-preservation. You are not obligated to give someone a second chance to prove that their harmful behavior is a core part of who they are. Instead, you are obligated to yourself, to your well-being, your growth, and your future. Trust is fragile, and when it is broken through intentional harm, it may never be fully mended. At the end of the day, relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and care. When someone chooses to harm you intentionally, they are breaking all three of these pillars. They are showing you that their character is not aligned with the values that foster healthy and meaningful connections. Believing they will change or that their intentions were misunderstood may only lead to more harm in the long run. Intentional harm is a powerful signal, a red flag that cannot be ignored. It speaks louder than apologies and louder than promises. It reveals not only who they are, but also what they are capable of. Listen to that signal and let it guide you to make choices that honor your self-worth and safeguard your peace. Self-worth is the foundation upon which our entire sense of identity and personal fulfillment rests. It defines how we see ourselves, how we allow others to treat us, and what we believe we deserve in life and relationships. When someone intentionally causes harm, it is a direct assault on your dignity and well-being. To allow them back into your life without accountability or change is to compromise the boundaries that safeguard your self-worth. Boundaries and self-worth are deeply intertwined. One cannot thrive without the other. At its core, self-worth is the recognition that you are deserving of respect, love, and kindness, not because of what you do or achieve, but simply because of who you are. It is an intrinsic value that no one has the right to diminish. However, when someone crosses a boundary and inflicts intentional harm, it shakes the foundation of that self-worth. It leaves you questioning whether you did something to deserve it, whether you are enough, or whether their actions define your value. These doubts can be corrosive, eroding the inner strength needed to stand firm and demand better. Boundaries are the tools we use to protect that self-worth. They are not walls meant to isolate us from the world, but rather fences that delineate where respect ends and harm begins. A person who respects you will honor those boundaries because they recognize your value. On the other hand, someone who disregards them, especially through intentional harm, is showing that they prioritize their own needs, desires, or emotions over your well-being. Allowing them to remain in your life without consequence weakens those boundaries and sends a silent signal: my worth is negotiable. When you fail to enforce boundaries, you risk falling into a cycle of tolerating behavior that undermines your value. Each time you accept mistreatment or intentional harm without addressing it, you teach both yourself and the other person that this behavior is permissible. This not only diminishes your sense of self-worth, but also emboldens the other person to repeat their actions, knowing there will be little or no consequence. Boundaries are not just about keeping harmful people at bay, they are about reinforcing your own belief that you deserve better. People often struggle with setting and enforcing boundaries because they fear rejection, conflict, or being seen as unkind. But the truth is, allowing someone to continuously cross your boundaries is far more damaging than any discomfort that might arise from enforcing them. It is not selfish or cruel to demand respect. It is necessary for your mental, emotional, and even physical health. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect and understanding, both of which require clear and consistent boundaries. By standing firm in your self-worth, you are also setting an example for others. You are teaching them how to treat you, but more importantly, you are teaching yourself. Each time you uphold a boundary, you affirm your value and remind yourself that you deserve respect and kindness. This practice strengthens your self-worth, making it harder for anyone to diminish it in the future. It's important to remember that self-worth is not about arrogance or self-centeredness. It's about recognizing your inherent value and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. When someone intentionally harms you, they challenge that sense of worth, and it's your responsibility, not theirs, to protect it. You cannot control their actions, but you can control your response. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who disregards your boundaries is not an act of anger or revenge, it is an act of love toward yourself. Boundaries also serve as a filter for the kinds of relationships you allow into your life. When you enforce them, you naturally attract people who respect and honor your value, while those who seek to take advantage or harm you will fall away. This is not always an easy process. It can involve difficult conversations, the loss of relationships, and moments of doubt. But the result is a life filled with people and experiences that uplift and empower you rather than drain or hurt you. When faced with someone who has intentionally harmed you, the decision to set and maintain boundaries is a test of your self-worth. It requires you to believe deeply and unshakably that you deserve better. This belief is not always easy to hold, especially when the other person offers apologies, promises of change, or emotional manipulation. But remember, true respect and care are shown through actions, not words. If their actions have shown a disregard for your boundaries in the past, they are likely to do so again. Protecting your self-worth and enforcing boundaries is not about closing yourself off to others. It is about opening yourself up to the right kind of relationships, those built on respect, trust, and mutual care. It is about creating space for healing, growth, and the kind of life you truly deserve. By refusing to give someone who has intentionally harmed you a second chance, you are not being cold or unforgiving. You are being wise, strong, and deeply committed to honoring your own value. Ultimately, self-worth and boundaries are acts of self-love. They remind you that your value is not determined by how others treat you, but by how you choose to treat yourself. When you prioritize your well-being and refuse to tolerate intentional harm, you are taking a stand not just against the person who hurt you, but for the life you deserve to live. It is a declaration of independence from toxicity, a commitment to growth, and a testament to the unshakable truth of your worth. Actions are the truest measure of intent and character. Words can be crafted, rehearsed, and delivered with charm, but actions reveal the reality that words often try to obscure. When someone intentionally harms you, their actions have already spoken a truth that no amount of apologies or promises can erase. It is critical to understand that what people do carries far more weight than what they say, especially when trust and respect are at stake. Promises, no matter how eloquent, are easy to make. They cost nothing, require no immediate effort, and often serve as a convenient way to smooth over conflict or manipulate emotions. But a promise without action is hollow, a facade designed to placate without addressing the underlying issue. When someone's actions contradict their words, it is their actions that reveal their priorities, values, and intentions. Actions demand effort and commitment. They are rooted in choice and reflect the essence of a person far more accurately than any words ever could. When someone has caused harm, their actions in the aftermath are particularly telling. Do they take accountability, seek to repair the damage, and demonstrate a genuine desire to change? Or do they offer empty apologies while continuing the same patterns of behavior? Intentional harm is not an accident, and addressing it requires more than a verbal acknowledgement. True remorse is demonstrated through consistent, tangible actions that show a commitment to growth and respect for the person who was harmed. Anything less is a clear indication that their words hold no substance. It is easy to be swayed by words, especially when they are delivered with emotion or accompanied by pleas for forgiveness. People often use words to create a narrative that absolves them of responsibility or shifts the focus away from their actions. They may downplay their behavior, blame external circumstances, or even make you feel guilty for doubting their sincerity. But sincerity is proven through effort, not eloquence. If their actions do not align with their words, it is their actions that should guide your judgment. Actions also reveal patterns of behavior, and patterns are a reliable indicator of someone's character. Anyone can say they will change, but consistent behavior over time is what truly defines a person. If someone has repeatedly caused harm and followed it with promises to do better, only to revert to the same actions, they are showing you a pattern. Patterns do not lie. They are the clearest reflection of who someone is and what you can expect from them in the future. Ignoring these patterns in favor of believing their words is a disservice to yourself and your well-being. When trust is broken, rebuilding it is an arduous process that requires more than verbal reassurances. It demands consistent, reliable actions that demonstrate a willingness to change and a respect for the boundaries that were violated. Trust is not rebuilt overnight, nor is it restored through grand gestures or emotional declarations. It is earned through day-to-day actions that show genuine effort and a commitment to doing better. If someone is unwilling or unable to back their words with actions, they are not truly invested in repairing the damage they've caused. The phrase "actions speak louder than words" is not just a cliché, it is a fundamental truth about human relationships. People can tell you they care, that they are sorry, or that they will change, but unless their actions reflect those statements, their words are meaningless. It is through actions that respect, love, and trust are demonstrated. It is through actions that people show their priorities and what you mean to them. And it is through actions that you can determine whether someone truly values you or is simply trying to placate you for their own benefit. Believing in actions over words does not mean you must be cynical or unforgiving. It means you approach relationships with clarity and a commitment to protecting your well-being. It means you recognize that allowing someone back into your life based solely on their words puts you at risk of experiencing the same harm again. Trusting actions over words is not about holding grudges, it is about being wise, discerning, and valuing yourself enough to demand more than empty promises. There is a profound sense of empowerment in holding people accountable for their actions. It sends a message not only to them but to yourself that you will not accept less than you deserve. When someone's actions have hurt you, and those actions do not change despite their words, it is a clear indication that they do not respect you or value your boundaries. Allowing them to stay in your life without demonstrating change only reinforces their behavior and leaves you vulnerable to further harm. Ultimately, actions are the clearest, most honest form of communication. They cut through the noise of excuses, promises, and justifications to reveal the truth of a person's character and intentions. By prioritizing actions over words, you protect yourself from manipulation, build healthier relationships, and affirm your own self-worth. You deserve to be surrounded by people who show their care, respect, and commitment through what they do, not just what they say. When faced with someone who has caused you harm, remember this: their words may be compelling, but it is their actions that will tell you everything you need to know. Choose to listen to what their actions are saying and let that guide you toward the path that honors your peace, your growth, and your dignity. Letting go is one of the most difficult yet profoundly transformative acts a person can undertake. It requires courage to release what no longer serves you, especially when it involves people who have played significant roles in your life. Growth through letting go is not just about walking away, it is about stepping into a version of yourself that values peace, self-respect, and emotional freedom over the familiar comfort of toxic patterns. Holding on to relationships or situations that have caused you harm can feel deceptively easier than letting go. The bonds, memories, and shared experiences create a sense of attachment that is hard to break, even when those connections bring pain. But clinging to what hurts you is like gripping a thorned vine. It may seem secure, but the longer you hold on, the deeper the wounds. Letting go is not an act of defeat, it is an act of self-preservation and an acknowledgement that you deserve better. Growth begins the moment you choose to release the weight of resentment, anger, and attachment. These emotions, while valid, can tether you to the past, preventing you from moving forward. Letting go does not mean forgetting or excusing what happened, it means refusing to let the actions of others dictate your present and future. It is a reclaiming of your power, a declaration that your life is not defined by the harm inflicted upon you, but by the strength you find in rising above it. The process of letting go often feels like navigating uncharted territory. It can be lonely, disorienting, and filled with moments of doubt. You may question whether you made the right decision or feel the pull of nostalgia for the good moments that existed amidst the harm. These feelings are natural, but they are not signs that you should turn back. Growth is rarely comfortable, and the discomfort of letting go is a small price to pay for the freedom and clarity that await you on the other side. By letting go, you create space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with the person you are becoming. Holding on to toxic connections or unresolved pain only takes up emotional and mental energy that could be better spent building the life you deserve. Growth through letting go is not just about removing what is harmful, it is about making room for what is nourishing, uplifting, and authentic. Letting go also teaches resilience. It shows you that you are capable of surviving and thriving without the people or situations you once thought were indispensable. It builds inner strength and self-reliance, reminding you that your happiness and well-being do not depend on external validation, but on your own choices and mindset. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of your growth, enabling you to face future challenges with greater confidence and grace. Another powerful aspect of letting go is the clarity it brings. When you release what no longer serves you, you gain a clearer perspective on who you are, what you value, and what you want from life. It allows you to break free from the fog of emotional entanglement and see situations for what they truly are. This clarity is essential for making decisions that align with your goals and values, helping you build a life that reflects your true self. Letting go also fosters forgiveness, not necessarily for the person who hurt you, but for yourself. It allows you to let go of guilt, regret, or self-blame that may have lingered in the aftermath of harm. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a way to release the emotional burden and move forward with a lighter heart. It is not about condoning what happened, but about freeing yourself from the hold it has on you. As you let go, you may notice a shift in your relationships and environment. People who respect your boundaries and support your growth will remain, while those who thrived on your vulnerability or resisted your progress will naturally fade away. This process can be painful, but it is also necessary. Growth requires pruning the branches of your life that no longer bear fruit, allowing new growth to flourish. Ultimately, letting go is an act of trust in yourself, in your ability to heal, and in the belief that better things lie ahead. It is a leap of faith that, while terrifying at times, is always worth taking. Growth is not a straight path, it is a journey filled with twists, turns, and setbacks. But every step you take away from what harms you is a step toward a future filled with possibility and fulfillment. In the end, growth through letting go is a powerful reminder that you are not defined by what has happened to you or who has hurt you. You are defined by how you choose to respond, how you rise, and how you reclaim your life. By letting go, you honor your strength, your resilience, and your capacity for transformation. It is not the end of something, it is the beginning of everything. In life, there are moments when we must confront the painful truth about the people we allow into our lives and the harm they have caused. Through their intentional actions, they reveal their character, their lack of respect for boundaries, and their disregard for the value of your trust. Words may be persuasive, apologies may sound sincere, but actions always speak louder. They show us the reality of intentions, priorities, and patterns that cannot be ignored. Letting go is not an act of weakness, but one of immense strength. It is a declaration of your self-worth and an acknowledgement that you deserve better than repeated harm or empty promises. It is a step toward growth, healing, and a future where your peace and well-being are no longer compromised. When you release those who have damaged you, you open yourself to a life of greater clarity, fulfillment, and relationships rooted in respect and care. Remember, you are not defined by what others have done to you, but by how you rise above it. Refusing to give a second chance to those who have harmed you intentionally is not about bitterness or vengeance, it is about protecting your dignity, reclaiming your power, and moving forward on a path that honors your value. Choose yourself, set boundaries, and let your actions echo the truth of your self-worth. In doing so, you not only heal but also pave the way for a life filled with authentic connections and the freedom to grow into the person you are meant to be. The strength to let go is the strength to transform, and that strength is within you.